collection now has outgrown itself now that I have all of these new art books and volumes of manga, some new figures, and I have a couple new bookcases. So I currently have been using 2 short bookcases, and I'm going to replace those 2 short ones with 2 tall ones and kind of just reorganize a little bit. So figured I would take a little before video, even though I didn't think about that until after I brought this bookcase in here. But oh yeah, under that bag there is more. But this is the current setup, these 4 bookcases, and then this one over here with my husband's stuff. So gonna try to get as much footage as I can of moving things around and organizing things. So I hope you enjoy watching my reorganization. Okay, we have the new bookcase set up. Gonna get it drilled into the wall in case we have an earthquake or anything, and then gonna get the other ones set up tomorrow because I'm gonna have my husband drill some extra holes because the default holes, they only have sections for like 3 shelves to put in, but I have some extra shelves and I'd like to put one either here on the top in the middle where there aren't holes, or to match these ones. And so it would need holes above and below these ones. So gonna work on this shelf for tonight. So I have 2 factory setting shelves and then 2 shelves here that have extra holes drilled into them, and then I'll have a 3rd one as well. So the chaos in my room right now. More over here. But gonna have fun working on it. Okay, so we were putting the shelves on, and these shelves match the other bookcase, but the tallest hole on this one does not match the top shelf of that one. So I don't know. I think he might have drilled in all 3 of them so that the top shelves would all be up as high as possible to still like fit a larger sized volume without so that we wouldn't just waste space on the bookcase. So I guess he's gonna drill some holes into this one as well tomorrow. Probably just the top though, and then the bottom should be fine. I don't know. I'm still deciding where everything's gonna go, but I don't know. I guess I probably shouldn't put anything on this bookcase tonight then. But I put this poster here just to kind of measure because I'm getting a pin board for my incoming Sanji pins that I'm planning to take up a whole shelf with pins and figures. So gonna do some planning, I guess, and then I'll try to get some more footage tomorrow. Okay, my husband just drilled the holes for me, so gonna continue. Pleased that there is now a matching shelf height for this top one, and I'm working on Sanji's placement for where he's gonna go on this shelf because I want to be able to see him, and I usually, this is usually my view of my shelves, so I think that would work. And it looks good from the front too. I don't know. Still thinking about it, but I'm going to work on the other shelves now. Okay, so I kind of finished the setup for my one-piece shelves, and I was planning where to put my prints, and I don't know, it's kind of maxed out with the books. Like up here is full, and then I have the space in front, and then down here the back is full, and then the front is full. So with the next one volume I get, I'm just gonna have to like lay it somewhere. So I'm thinking about moving these volumes up here, these back volumes up here, and then these front volumes, move them up. So then that way I'll gain some extra shelf space for more display for my prints and figures. So just kind of preemptively trying to make more space for it, I guess. Also, on this middle shelf, I'm planning to put a pin board back here. So I think I'm going to want to put that framed print down on this shelf maybe if I have the space for it. And then I can line the wall of this shelf with prints, have my pin board, my big Sanji figure, and then maybe some small one-piece things here in the front as well. So I don't know, I'm going to think about it. For now, I have these 4 tall bookcases, and my husband just finished drilling holes in a 5th bookcase and getting it set up. So about to bring that in here and then kind of spread my manga around. And I'm not just going to spread this out. I do have more manga over here and all this stuff too to find new homes for. So gonna get working on all of that. Okay, so before we drill this bookcase to the wall, because we have our thermostat back here and our light switch, we did just kind of measure where the bookcase ends, and then, where'd it go? And then the like midpoint of the bookcase, as well as a guide for the top of the bookcase, and then measured like where the thermostat was and where the light switch was, and took a little 6 inches in to 10 inches in, and then 8 inches down, and then 13 inches down. And then same with this one, 3 inches in, 7, and then 11 inches from the midpoint and 15 inches up. So gonna cut these squares out so that when we put the bookcase against the wall, we will be able to access the light switch from the other side, as well as the thermostat, and we'll make sure that the books on this bookcase are not just packed out so that some air will still be reaching the thermostat and we can still get to it as well. So gonna work on that. Okay, so we've got the holes cut out and taped around with washi tape so that it would not look all jagged, and I'm happy with it. So now I can get the shelves on and get started. so I decided I am in fact going to move these volumes up and then take these volumes from down here and the ones in the back here, move them up, and then these ones put them up on the risers on that shelf. And then that way I'll just have them spread out a little bit. I'll have room for more volumes because I think this one's 103 and it is like packed. The shelf is packed out. So now I'll have a little more space as I get additional volumes as well as extra space to display my prints. Okay, so I changed my mind again, and as you can see, I swapped these two shelves because I ordered my pin board finally, and the way I had this shelf, there wasn't enough space for the pin board, and there weren't holes drilled in to move the shelf up, so switching these two, I'd have room on here, so my pin board is on the way, and I put this poster backwards in the frame onto this shelf so I could visualize what the pin board is going to look like a little bit. I flipped Sanji around just so I could appreciate the muscles on his backside. But so I have a third of my volumes up here, a third of my volumes here, and then the rest down here. And then I have plenty of space for more volumes of one piece and then plenty of space for my prints. And I'm planning now to go through and decide on this side and this side on these three shelves which prints I want to put up, and I'm going to work on that now. Okay, so I put prints up on these couple shelves. I didn't record them though because I kept changing things and I felt so indecisive, and I still even am like, I knew I wanted this one up, but I'm not sure yet what I'm going to put here or on this shelf. Finally put these ones on display. I haven't had them on the display since I got them. But my pin board is on the way, and I just have this here as a placeholder. But my pin board is going to take up like the whole back area of the shelf. But for the rest of my shelves, I still haven't worked on my Love of Kill shelf. I'm going to have 2 Love of Kill shelves now because this is just too crammed. But I moved over some of my shoujo and just high school set series over a bit. And I think what I'm going to do next is I planned to move my crime shelf and combine it with JJK and mix them a little bit and put them on these 2 shelves so that I could free up this shelf. And then I'll have my 3 kind of bigger shoujo display shelves. So I'll have Snow White with the Red Hair, Yona of the Dawn, and I'm going to move Kimi Chidoke up here because I just got some new things that I want to put on display when I was in Japan. But then planning to adjust these shelves because I have this poster from the series Given and I want to have it on display. So I'm going to try to make it work down here along with some of my art books and Japanese volumes, and then try to get this section all fixed up. So that's what I'm going to work on tonight. Okay, I got it up. And I didn't want to fold it, so I just kind of rounded it around that corner without like making a crease, but it probably isn't good for the poster, but whatever. I wanted to actually have it on display, so I'm happy with it. But I'll have to be careful because if I like push hard on it or something, it would probably rip since I didn't like fold it and tuck it into that corner. But gonna work on these shelves now. So the poster keeps coming loose, so I guess my tape job wasn't good enough. I guess if it comes loose again, I'm just gonna pull it down and redo it. But working on the bottom shelf right now. Okay, I just took all the tape off the poster and off of the wall because it's just not staying, and I'm going to have to find a new way to do it. I don't know if the poster is too heavy or if it's the paper type is not like working well with the tape. So I might just cut it in that corner so that it fits. I don't know yet. Gonna work on everything else and do that last maybe. Okay, I'm going to be working on this shelf next, and I'm actually going to be spreading all of my Love of Kill stuff from this shelf. It's super cramped and I have more on the way, but I'm going to be spreading it across onto this one so that I can just have a little more room to display them. So it's been a few weeks now since I started this section of my shelves with my Love of Kill volumes and magazines and merch, but I ended up spreading it out to these two shelves. I kind of split up my magazines over here and my volumes over here, and then put some of the official art behind on both of them. Maybe you notice that one is more warm toned with red illustrations, and even on this side more traditional clothing. And then on this side, it's more cool tones with more blues. But I'm really happy with it. I'm glad I have a bit more space for displaying all of the art. And the big reason that I felt I needed the extra shelf is because I had just gotten this framed print that I won in the Kuji. And I wanted to be able to have it on display without it blocking half of the shelf, as well as being able to display just some of my favorite art pieces and the magazine covers that I really liked. So I am satisfied with these shelves. And then these two shelves, I came back and I adjusted things a bit. I took out those Nendoroid boxes and put actual risers down underneath, just so they'd be a little more secure, and because if I needed to get into those Nendoroid boxes, I didn't want to have to be pulling all of my manga out just to get to them. But so on this shelf, I moved things around so that all of my Japanese manga was back in the back behind, and then more of my English manga in the front. I have more on the way, so I have a little space set aside for those ones to go there. And then up above, I moved the Sublime volumes, not all of them, but just some of the Sublime volumes because I thought it would match, and they're kind of short so you can see the art on the wall behind them. And I managed to get this poster up on the wall of my bookshelf finally. So I did have it going around this corner, and I moved it over to this side because just where this bookcase is placed in my room, I would see this more often from this angle as opposed to from this angle looking this way toward the opposite corner. So on this side, I'll be able to see it more regularly. And then since the illustration ends like halfway across the bookcase, I'll be able to have some of my taller art books kind of going across, and I don't have to worry about the illustration in the poster getting blocked. So I'm pretty happy with how these two shelves turned out. Oh, and I forgot to mention, for this poster, it just wasn't working out trying to keep it stuck up with washi tape. So a friend recommended some of these little sticky, I don't know if they're putty, but I think they're called like sticky putty rounds. But they worked really well. I just put one on each of these four corners on this side, and then this one was a longer strip, so I did the four corners, and then one on the top and bottom of the center of the poster on that side. But I'll put a link in the video description to where these can be bought on Amazon. I am pretty happy with how the poster is holding up. It's staying stuck to the wall really well. But I haven't removed the poster, so I can't guarantee that these sticky rounds will just come off clean. I did do like a test stick with just a piece of paper on the wall of my bookcase with sticking that paper to it. I did it with two separate ones and tried peeling them off differently, and one of them ripped the paper and one of them did not. So whenever I finally take this off of the bookcase, I'm going to be extremely careful and just hope that I'm able to remove the sticky putty rounds without damaging the poster. So I don't know what to say for these two shelves. I keep making little adjustments, and I'm just not happy with how I am setting things up. So I have an idea of how to do it and to put them somewhere else on different shelves, I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and just change everything and move like 5 shelves around because I feel like I'll be happier with it like that. So I'm going to work on that now. Okay, so I finished these shelves for being my extra crime shelves. They're not completely done yet because I'm going to add some prints on these walls, but I'm really happy with how they're set up now. I wasn't happy with how I was doing them before, and now I'm finally happy with them. But this is where Kimi ni Todoke was, so I moved that over here. This is where Yona of the Dawn was, and I moved that up here. So I moved a bunch of stuff around. But this is the last shelf that I am going to work on today. Just getting my JJK stuff set up and all of my Toji prints and everything just all set up. And then I'll be pretty much done. Going to just share some pans of my shelves now that I've finished this reorganization. And as of now, it is like mid-January. So I am planning to do a full shelf tour and just go through all my manga at the end of February for my 2-year MangaTube anniversary. So please look forward to that, and I will go shelf by shelf and just share my setup as well as all the different series that I have. but hope you enjoyed watching as I reorganized my shelves. I wish I could have filmed more, but I just kept getting really impatient and kept changing my mind and moving things one place and moving them another place. So tried to document as much as I could, but again, hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you again soon in another video. Thanks for watching.